right, here we go. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we have an awesome loan officer, Sherry Schmitz, on with us today. She's been in reverse for a very long time. And Sherry, I'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll get started.
Hi, I am Sherry Schmitz, and I am a mortgage broker here in the Pacific Northwest. I really focus on, Washington, Oregon, and California. That's where most of my business comes from. And I have been in the business for a long time, since maybe '04, '05, something like that, maybe '03. I don't know. You know, once you're past 10 years, who cares, right? Because you're seasoned. And I really love the reverse mortgage product. I just think it's great. I've used it to help so many people and improve people's lives that, when I came out of banking and back into retail and broker, I was like, man, I had such a good time doing reverse mortgages that I really just want to focus on that 100%. So I'm slowly trying to, move my wheel back into reverse, if you will, forward into reverse. So there you go.
All right, so awesome. So for our audience benefit, what makes you like doing reverse mortgages?
So the first reverse mortgage that I actually did was for my grandmother. And the reason that I did it was because when my grandfather passed away, she was like, she just gave me all her papers. She's like, can you just look at this? I don't know, So when I looked at her paperwork, the first thing that I saw was that they had a second, or actually, yeah, it was a HELOC on their house. And she felt she had been making payments for 15 years fully amortized, and come to find out it was interest only with the balloon payment due in April. And this was September. So April, balloon payment due. And then also, we saw that my grandfather, when he had elected, what kind of retirement to take from the state, he had elected to take the most that he could get. And the caveat was, when he passed away, it would go away as well. So her income dropped from about $6,000 a month to maybe 1,200. I mean, like 1,100 and some change, really. And she had a balloon payment due. So, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what can we do? What can you do? So I was doing research, and I'd heard about a reverse mortgage. And so I did a little research on it, and then ended up asking. I worked for American Pacific Mortgage at the time. So they were really, gung ho for that. So, anyways, I hooked up with the reverse mortgage guy. And by the time we got done, we had paid off that balloon. So she didn't owe any money. She ended up taking a monthly payment of about 1,200 a month. So she was now getting 2,400 a month, no payments due. Her car was paid off, everything. And then she had this line of credit, and it really just saved the day. It was either, that, or somebody was going to have to pay her bills for her. So that is really how I got started in it, and I was skeptical as well. When I first read about it, I was like, no way. There's a guy on TikTok that he sees these crazy things, and he always goes, no way. And he always goes and tries it. So, but anyways, it really was everything that they said it was going to be. And I just literally fell in love with the program at that point, and became their top producer there at American Pacific. And I love it. I love it. And my clients that I had, even back in, '03, '04, '05, all the way up to, 2009, like, we're still friends. They will call and invite me on trips. They will refer their family members to me. And it's just really such a special relationship that you create with those clients. I mean, yeah, we have relationships on the forward side, but these elderly people, literally are trusting you with their lives. And it's, just to see how much their life has improved and the things that they can do at that point is just, it's so special. So I mean, to me, there's never a bad day in reverse mortgage. So just love it.
Oh, that's amazing. I had no idea. What an important story. What an interesting way to get into reverse, your own grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, my dad did one so that he could retire. And, I mean, I have stories like you always get the clients that do it, and they don't really need to, but maybe they just don't want their house payment anymore. But then I have stories of people who literally it was that or going to a convalescent home. I actually was approached by these people at my church one time, and they said, so and so, she's really not in a good situation. She may be able to use a reverse mortgage. So when went and met with her, the first thing I noticed was that there was no sheetrock on the wall. She was literally living in like down to the studs, broken down old house. She had no money for repairs. She was one of those people that was literally eating like a can of tuna a day. That's what she was trying to exist on less than $700 a month, Social Security. While I'm sitting there on the couch talking to her, I am not lying when I tell you a mouse jumped into my bag. That is how bad her situation was.
Even the mice wanted to get out of there.
Even the mice. And I was like, I know she was mortified. I, you just try to play it off like, oh, you silly little mouse, whatever. So
Yeah.
we ended up moving her into a hotel. We got all of the time and material donated. So, fast forward 6 months later, we do the reverse mortgage. She moves into, let's say, a brand new house. It is brand new. And she ends up getting a monthly payment of about $2,000 a month. So that life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And I mean, when can you really say that? Oh yeah, I helped so-and-so buy their first house. Yeah, that's life-changing. They bought a house, but are you eating tuna every day? Are you living with the mice? Like it was nuts. So there's just so many great stories. And it makes me sad when I see people that are like, oh, it's a scam and don't do it. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say that it's a great fit for everyone because it's not. But for some people, it's an amazing fit. And for some people, it can change their life. It can let them live out the rest of their life in a comfortable manner. And, who wants to really begrudge people that? So,
Right, right. I mean, that's a really good point. It's not a perfect fit for everyone, but is any financial product, is any mortgage going to be perfect for everyone?
no,
No.
absolutely
There's
not.
so many different products out there. This is one that meets a specific need.
Mm-hmm. It
Um,
does. It really
and I
does.
I love the idea of like the clients that don't need it, but you know what? You saved them from ever getting to that point. People who don't need the reverse mortgage, they're just the people who see a little further down the road and go, I don't ever want to experience that close to the edge. I don't ever want
Right.
to get to the point where I'm not, able to choose my meals or
Yeah.
fix the sheetrock on the walls.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's a little bit sad to me that people think, oh, I have to wait till I need it. You don't. It's
Yeah.
such a good financial product. You don't have to wait till you're desperate. In
It
fact,
really is. It really is. And, I've had people take it and buy a Harley Davidson. This guy had always wanted a Harley, never could afford it. So they bought a Harley. I had people take trips. I have people, they did a reverse mortgage and put it, left it all on the line of credit, but they knew they were going to have to make some adjustments to the house, like put in ramps and bars and everything. So they did that, so there's just the fact that there's no restrictions on how you can use the money. I mean, that's like endless for you right there. I've had clients pull the money out. This was one thing actually. So I had these clients and they're like, you know what, we want to see our heirs spend their inheritance. So they pulled money out and gave it to their kids or grandkids to buy houses. I've had some pay for college. So, that to me, that's even cooler. Like if I was like 80 and I had, this house, I would rather, give them the money and let me see how you enjoy it. Let me see how it helps you. So it's just
right.
God, such a great product. God, I just
Well,
love it. I really love it.
and that presupposes the idea that there won't be equity left, which is often not the case. It's just balancing it better. A lot of the time heirs are in their younger years and they need the help, right? They're raising families, they're sending kids to college, they're buying their first house. They really need that financial help. What I see a lot of the time with my clients is, when somebody passes when they're 90, their heirs are in their 60s, maybe 70s.
Yeah.
Don't really need the money.
Right.
That time for them has already passed.
Yeah.
And so, the money I'm sure is beneficial and it helps their retirement and protect them longer. But at that point in their lives, they're usually kind of set and they're like, oh, I just wish mom and dad had lived a little bit better. Or
Mhm.
maybe looking back, I could have used the help at this point in time and then use
Mhm.
the leftover equity. Because it's
Yeah.
not like you take it. It's not like the loan, our loan amounts are not 100%.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a
True.
big misconception we face too.
True. True. So yeah, it's just it can be for whatever. I had these one clients, they had no kids. Their house was paid off and they were like, man, we just really want to do it and spend the money on things we never, we couldn't or we didn't. So they took all the money out and they went on vacations and cruises and bought this and bought like they had a blast. And as one person that I worked with was like, that's so irresponsible. And I was like, why? It's their money. Like they paid off their house, who cares?
It's the best investment they've ever made. Why would they not benefit from it?
Yep. Yeah.
That whole irresponsible thing to me is like some sort of weird judgment call to try to keep
Exactly.
people from living their lives and
Exactly.
enjoying what they've built for
Yeah.
themselves.
Oh, are you jelly? Yeah,
Well, that's probably it, right?
yeah. But I mean, after I did my grandma's, I was like in my 20s, and I told everyone after my first one, I can't wait to turn 62 because I am totally doing a reverse mortgage. Like, it just, I don't know. It's, I don't know. Like until you really, because you do it and
Yeah.
you see those clients and you see how you help them and you see how you improve their lives and you see all the fun that you have. And until you really experience that, you just don't understand. You just can't understand. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, my parents have a reverse mortgage and I'm happy about that. They should have one. That's their investment. And I'm still going to get equity. It's not like it's either or. I know there's still going to be a lot of equity when they do pass, unless they live to like 120, which my mom might. My mom has some longevity. And if she does, thank God she's got that because she's not going to be
right?
looking to me for financial help.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
reverse covers her.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I also have grandparents who didn't do them. And I wish they had. It would have been absolutely life-changing for my grandmother and my grandfather for that matter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It really, really would, especially, now when everything is so expensive, inflation and gas and, 401ks being cut, how many people are working and miserable, living paycheck to paycheck when they could really do a reverse mortgage and get out from underneath that stress, even if it just pays off your house, at least, it seems ridiculous to me that you retire and then you have to go back to work so that you can live. That's BS. So, yeah, I just want to get the word out to everyone. Like a reverse mortgage, it's a great thing. You need to do it. If I could get on TV, I would. But anyways,
well, it's YouTube. What's our version
that's
of
true.
TV?
That is true. And I have been thinking about doing a YouTube channel, but the whole like, oh God, what do I have to do? Blah, 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 so
People
I'm
need
a
it.
procrastinator.
The only source people had for reverse mortgages is a commercial with the spokesman. And that's, I don't know, 30 seconds of education. Like how much can you really understand about something? And then they
Yeah.
think the bank owns the house and they think,
Yeah.
oh, I'm stuck. I can't refinance. I can't sell. I can't, which we know is absolutely not true. None of those things are
Yeah.
true. It
Yeah.
takes people like us to come on and say, hey, we do this all day, every day. Here's how it actually works. And
Yeah.
I love your stories. Because a lot of the time, I don't know if you see this in your practice, but I see parents that don't want to tell their kids how painful their lives really are. And the person eating cat food in my, yours was a can of tuna. Mine was like a woman literally eating cat food. She cried as she admitted that to me. And
Yeah.
her family had no idea. And of course, those were the kids going, oh, I don't like a reverse mortgage. It's like, oh my gosh, why? You have no idea how much pain your mother is in. And she's trying to save face and be prideful about this. And I get that.
Yeah.
But gosh, let's open the doors of communication a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy how like closed off that generation is about their financial status. And, even my dad, he is a worrier, but I know like he's lost a lot of money. He lost a lot of money and when we had the first meltdown, and then he's just lost like $100,000 in his retirement investments now. And he doesn't really talk about it. He'll just get in a really bad mood, and I'm like, oh, are we having some money worries now? But yeah, that's the thing. Kids that are like, oh, I don't want you to do you're using my inheritance. Okay, are you going to pay all mom and dad's bills? I mean, if
Right.
you are, I'll walk out the door. But if you're not, then you need to listen to me. So,
Well,
but
and have you
yeah,
had that client where the kids say, yeah, we will. And then, 1 month to 12 months later, the parents call back and say, yeah, that didn't actually work so well. And you're like, no way.
yeah,
I
no,
wish you didn't have to go down that road. I kind of foresaw it happening, but it
yeah,
just, kids are just, they're raising their own children. They're trying to buy their own houses. They're trying to save for their own retirements and colleges. It doesn't make sense to do it that way for
mhm,
most people, you know?
mhm,
Even
yeah,
even my clients who had wealthy kids, like we were like, oh, kids are really going to do this. They came together with a plan. The mortgage is like 4,000 a month, and my business partner and I were kind of like, wow, okay, maybe this one works. Now, 8 months later, called back, Christina, I'm sorry I
yeah.
canceled.
Well, I
Very
mean, you
good.
don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to, if your inflation's going to jump up to 9% or whatever. I mean, you're on a
Right.
budget now, and then God knows what happens. You get sick or anything
Yeah.
like that. So, you know what? My thing is like, even if you don't want to spend the money, and this is crazy because you don't really make a lot of money when you're just telling everybody to do the line of credit. But I mean, really, if you don't need the money, then just do the line of credit. There it's there if you need it. It's there if you have an emergency. But if you don't need it, like no harm, no foul. So
Right. And some of the
yeah,
big companies don't even tell people line of credit is an option. And that kills me. It's like because of what you said, right?
uh,
The loan officer doesn't make as much money if you structure it appropriately for the situation in a lot of cases. And appropriate for the situation sometimes is monthly payments to them, sometimes it's the line of credit. It's not often pull all of the cash now and, in my opinion, incur interest from day one on some large sum of money. That's not a
yeah,
great strategy if you don't need that money for something or have some
yeah,
plan for it.
yeah,
But people like you, people like me, we care and say, okay, well, if I was you, this is the structure I would want it. And I'm not going to make as much money, but I don't care. This is
yeah,
about making sure this works for you. And we get referrals from that. So, like,
exactly.
why would you not do business that way?
Exactly. There's just a lot of people that don't, and it.
Yeah.
They just are, there's a lot of people that are reverse mortgage people, and I feel like, oh, you need to get out of business. You're not helping the people out, but I don't
Well,
know.
but that's what you're saying. They're not actually reverse mortgage people. They're loan officers who do mortgages and they say, oh, I
Exactly.
can do reverse too.
Yeah,
Haven't invested. They don't understand all of the ins and outs and the consequences on the back end. And so
yeah,
somebody like you who have really, really been in this for a long time and understand and put in the knowledge. I mean, you've invested in yourself in this knowledge in a big way, you know?
yeah,
People should invest in themselves and work with somebody like you because of that.
yeah, yeah. That's what I think. I don't know. I just like to, you know, call myself like a social worker for elderly people or whatever, but
Sometimes it
I
is.
just
Some files it really
yeah.
is.
I just, you know what, that, I, so after I did my grandma's, we started doing these seminars once a month at the community center, the senior center. And me and my business partner, he was also, a cop, but he just loved reverse mortgage as well. And so he researched it all, and we would make tuna and apple sandwiches, plain potato chips, some cookies, some fruit, and water. And so that was our traveling, like, our little buffet. And so the first one that we ended up had 5 people show up, and we got one reverse mortgage out of that, which was amazing. It really takes a while. But the second one we had this little old guy come in, and he was sitting in the front, and we did our little spiel, and asked if anybody had any questions, and he raised his hand and he said, my wife just passed away, and I'm really in a bad way. She had, you know, Countrywide had let her refinance, to 172%. So all the money was taken out of the house. I mean, it was just a mess. And he literally started crying. He was like, I don't know what to do. And his name was Lee. I will always love Lee. And so, anyways, Mike and I were like, oh, no matter what, we're gonna help this guy, right? So we ended up going to his house, and I'm telling you, his wife was a hoarder to the millionth degree. So he was really living in this whole hoard of dolls and glass figurines, everything. And his little easy chair was in there. And his house had really bad mold because in the bathroom they had put a shower or a window in the shower, and so the water would leak, and so it caused a big mold thing in the bathroom. So it was really a mess. So this was in Northern California in the summer, and the temperatures in the summer range from, let's say, 105 all the way up to 120 degrees. No lie. We ended up getting 3 dumpster fulls. Mike and I, and we got people to volunteer because this guy had been an umpire for Little League forever. So it was a small town, everybody knew him. 3 days, we just cleaned junk out of that house. It was so hot, and we would take it to the dump. And then we got, time and materials donated. We got him a new roof. They tore the bathroom completely out and put in a new bathroom. And, you know, he would go around town when it was happening and just tell everyone. So people would come over and see what's going on at Lee's house, and the news ended up coming out and the newspaper, and he just, to this day, he will tell you that I am his most favorite person. I saved his life, and his kids came over and they were like, what's going on over here, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you need to back up because you're letting your dad live here in this mess. And I'm not even related to him, but here we are, trying to help him out. So, anyways, we got his house paid off. He didn't get very much money at all, maybe, I don't know, $7,000, but he had no house payment. He didn't have to worry about losing his house. It was clean. It was just so awesome. And when I see people that live in that town, like I'll say something, it'll be like, oh yeah, you're the girl that helped me. And I'm just like, I did. So,
Oh, that's so cool, Sherry.
that's the thing. Like, you just really are, to me, with a reverse mortgage, you're just really all in, like 1000% in. Whatever needs to be done, you got to roll up your sleeves and get it done. Don't
Absolutely.
depend on anyone else to do it. Just get it done. And it just, sure, I was cussing when it's 120 and I'm hauling stuff out of this house, but man, when it was over, I just was like, oh God, like I could die right now. I'm so happy. So,
I can't imagine what a project that would have been. My gosh.
oh gosh.
Oof.
Well, it was, I mean, you look at those, you see those houses on Hoarders, and it wasn't like dirty like that, but this lady spent all day, every day buying stuff off QVC. So, the plates, the dolls, the purses, I mean, just so much stuff, and I was like, Lee, like we might be able to sell some of the stuff. He's like, no, just get it out. I don't want it. I'm sick of looking at it. So we did. And he just is, that was just such a, man, that was so awesome. I wish that was every day of my life was like that. It was so great. So
That's, well, as a reverse loan officer, you get a lot more days than most people.
true. I just, yeah, it's, gosh, I don't know. It's just such a, as you know, it's just such an indescribable feeling. These people have, you don't know if they've had these great lives or there's these bad lives, but that when you're done with them, their life is better. And, maybe they can be happy and comfortable the way that they haven't been their whole life. So it's amazing. Really is.
Yeah. Thank you for going the extra mile on that. That is just amazing.
It was great. Some of my friends that, because we got some of the loan officers in the office to come out, and, they were like, I can't believe you got me doing this. And I'm like, it's for Lee. It's for Lee.
That's so cool.
It was crazy.
Very cool. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for coming on. I have one question for you to end the session. And that is, if you could change one thing about the American retirement, what would it be?
I feel like if I could change one thing about the American retirement, I would educate people about reverse mortgage, whether they're young and just starting out, or, whether they're getting close to retirement age. I feel like companies really should put together some kind of, seminar or whatever, just to let people know reverse mortgage is available. It can help supplement your retirement. You don't need to work until you're 90. You don't need to eat cat food. Like, it is available for you. And, just educating people. I really feel like educating people, that's all you need to do. The rest will work itself out. So, I would love it if these big companies would just, have that as part of their HR or their retirement or something like that, so that people know there are options out there for you.
That's beautiful. I love it. I mean, I'm almost like, yes, go do that. That's a great
I
business
know,
plan.
right?
Go
I
talk to
know.
HR companies and
I
put on
know.
seminars.
I know. It is, yeah, I mean, you and I live this life every day. So it's hard for me to think about somebody who doesn't know this product is out there. I'm like, it's a reverse, just do the reverse mortgage. They're like, a what?
A
And I'm like,
what?
oh my God, you don't know, let me tell you.
I know.
So,
I know even some of my close friends and family, like when they actually ask me details about how it works, I'm like, thanks for finally asking and
I
listening. And their eyes
know,
just get bigger and bigger. Like, this is amazing.
right?
Like, yeah, I do it
Right?
all day. There's a
Yeah.
reason I do this stuff, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. It is super
Yeah.
amazing. So, well, thanks for having me. That was really awesome to talk about myself, my
Well,
reverse
and your
mortgage story.
clients. Yeah. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing with us today.
Awesome. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Uh-huh. You too. Bye.